for weeks.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true. Burgundy Ballers, welcome back to another episode of the Ballin in Burgundy podcast. Yeah, I got Chris, I got Andrew. Fellas, what's going on?
We did it, boys. We got them.
Good.
That's like the big news for tonight.
Woo! What how's the song go? We did it. Hey, hey, we made it. Hey, hey. Because guys, we got big news. And like I said, we got big news. Before we get into that, don't forget to like and subscribe here on the channel. Head over to Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and our Twitter account. Go follow us over there. We got draft prospects, interviews, draft prospect breakdowns, mock drafts, the whole nine. You want the latest and greatest news right as it happens, head over to Instagram and Twitter. TikTok, we got some heat content coming for you guys. Like I said, like, subscribe, hit that little notification bell to let you know every time we upload. But let's get into it. As of 11:40 this morning, we're recording this Friday, January 12th. You guys see this on Saturday like we normally do for you guys. The Washington Commanders have hired San Francisco 49ers assistant general manager Adam Peters as our brand new general manager. Fellas, how we feeling?
Let's go, boys. He coming here to build a squad.
You goddamn right.
This man has experience behind his belt. He knows how to build a team. He is the answer to our prayers, and he is here to save the Washington franchise from years of bad GMs.
You goddamn right. Oh, excuse me. But for those who don't, know who he is, or what has he done? Well, he is a 21-year vet in the NFL. He has spent time with the Patriots, the Broncos, and most recently the 49ers. Shout out the Denton Day on Twitter. He broke it down perfectly. Adam Peters from 2003 to 2008 was the Patriots scout, or a Patriots scout. For the Broncos from 2009 to 2016, he was one of their scouts and the assistant of college scouting and director of college scouting. So he was a little bit of both. And from 2017 up until this year, he was the 49ers vice president of player personnel and assistant general managers. And in his 21 years, he has 3 Super Bowl wins, 6 conference championships, and 13 divisional titles. When you talk about experienced, you want to talk about someone who has a little bit of, oomph to their resume, a little bit of spicy mustard on their hot dog. This is the guy you want to see. All right. And you want to know what the bigger news is coming out of this? Is he turned down the interviews from the Cardinals, Titans, Chargers, and Raiders. Josh Harris woke up this week and shows violence on the NFL. This man said, I'm going to smell the roses and lay the smackdown on y'all's candy asses at the GM spot. Andrew, how you feeling?
I am really excited. This guy has absolutely been my number one choice and who I want as GM. And I think that's the case for all of us, right?
Yep.
He is one of 2 guys we interviewed. We also interviewed the Bears guy.
Yep. Ian Cunningham. It was Ian Cunningham.
Yeah. So, he has so much experience under his belt with 3 different super teams from when he was with them, of course. Obviously, that's not the case for still Broncos and Patriots. But when he was with the Patriots, they were great. When he was with the Broncos, they were great. And now he's with the 49ers. They're great. He's carrying the greatness with him to Washington. And I honestly don't think it's a surprise that he turned down all the other interviews and this was his spot he wanted to go to. Everyone's saying, oh, why Washington? Yeah, they're an okay spot. They've got some draft capital and some money. We are projected to have around $100 million in cap space, number 2 overall pick, tons of draft picks, and in position to hopefully get Caleb Williams. We're in a great spot for the future, regardless of how this past season went, and he sees that. So him all seeing that only makes me more confident in the team. So just so happy that he's actually we got who we wanted, and that hasn't been the case with Dan Snyder and previous coaching staff. It's always been, scrapping for mediocrity, but now we're getting the best of the best.
Yep.
And time has finally come.
Yeah. Well, the big thing with that is, excuse me, it's just so exciting. We got actual good news. So he has agreed to the terms to be general manager. However, it hasn't been officially signed yet. Because they, 49ers have the first round bye, then they'll be in the playoffs, Super Bowl, the whole nine, right? So it makes sense. But we will continue to evaluate general manager Martin Mayhew, who worked with Peters in San Francisco, and Martin Herney. Get their old ass out of here. But the big thing that Albert Breer just saying that and then saying this is that we signed him as the GM and not the president of football ops. But with that being said, is a good chance and creates a chance to promote him again down the line. Either way, Peters will lead the football operation. So he kind of has the football operations title and GM title as one under the general manager. But I talked with Rio earlier, and he said it on his channel. No one is going above Adam Peters. That's how it should be.
Absolutely. And there was talk earlier about him possibly being hired as the head of football ops instead of GM, but we found out today that he's going to be hired as GM, yet still retain a lot of the powers of head of football ops. And I think that's the right choice. And yeah, Rio is completely right. There's nobody that needs to have more say than Adam Peters.
Nope.
He's going to be at the top. And that's right where we want him.
Yep. Chris, what are you thinking?
It's just me, Boost. Day one. All right, let's get it. No, Adam Peters, I love the hiring. I mean, he's absolutely built 3 super teams in the past. New England, obviously, the dynasty. Denver, a little bit of a dynasty there with Peyton Manning. And now San Fran, who's pretty much kind of on a dynasty run a little bit. I feel good with it. I would like it to. I would like him to bring in some guys that we most definitely need. Like Josh Allen and Brian Burns.
Please.
I know, I mean, he's the GM, so I don't know if he can, have all the power on that say. Probably not. I don't know. But I definitely think it is a good hiring because we needed a guy like this. And Martin Mayhew, we need to get out of here. Literally, bro can leave. And nobody would care because we have Adam Peters, pretty much go at building teams. But yeah, I like the hiring. I think we need to continue this aggressiveness going into free agency and hiring head coaches in the draft. And yeah, let's take it from there.
For sure. Shout out at Big Body Board on Twitter. He said this earlier today, meaning earlier tonight on Friday. He said, my favorite thing about Adam Peters, 49ers have 8 no doubt blue chip players on their roster, and they used every kind of avenue to acquire these guys. You guys ready for this? First round, Nick Bosa and Brandon Ayuk. Day 2 and day 3s, Deebo Samuel, Fred Warner, who's arguably the best middle linebacker in the league, if not the best linebacker in the league, and George Kittle, top 3 tight end. They traded for Trent Williams from us, and Christian, by God, should be MVP, but will be Offensive Player of the Year. I'm calling it right now, McCaffrey. And they signed him in free agency, Charvarius Ward, who's been a standout corner this season. Not to mention guys like Talanoa Hufanga.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that same personnel pool, they've drafted 5 first-team All-Pros in Bosa, Samuel, Warner, Kittle, and Hufanga. You want to know who the last one we drafted? Brandon Sheriff.
Damn.
2015. Almost a decade of piss poor shit.
Wow.
Yep.
Typical Washington.
Typical Washington. But now that brings into question who will be hiring as head coach. The two biggest names right now attached to our Washington Commanders. I got McLaurin. Chris has got Jahan Dotson. And Andrew has got the quarterback, as of right now, QB on the roster, and Sam Slinging Howell.
As
It's
of now.
as of now. But the two biggest names in the draft pool as for head coaches is Mike Vrabel and it's Ben Johnson. I want Ben Johnson. Chris, I'm going to start with you. Who out of those two, or who is your ideal head coach pairing with general manager Peters?
Taking Ben Johnson. Taking Ben Johnson, and the reason for that, he's an offensive-minded guy, which we need. We don't need any more defensive guys, or at least defensive-minded head coaches. Even though they do say defenses win championships and offenses, put butts in the seats. With Ben Johnson, I think he would honestly build around Sam Howell. I honestly think he would. Because I think he would be like, okay, this kid had a completely different coaching staff than what he had, when Scott Turner was here,
Right.
as our offensive coordinator. So, go ahead and give him one more shot. But I most definitely would like to see him here. Mike Vrabel, I wouldn't mind. If we needed to go that route, I wouldn't mind it. But the coach I really want most, like, even though you didn't say his name, I want Jim Harbaugh. And that's because, I don't know, Adam Peters wasn't there when Harbaugh was in San Francisco the time frame of when they went to the NFC Championship, Super Bowl, NFC Championship. But I think it would work out well because Harbaugh, not only does he know how to build an offense because he was a quarterback in the league, he would also know how to build a defense because he did that in San Francisco with Navarre Bowman, Patrick Willis, all those other guys. So, to be honest, the two I want most is Harbaugh or Johnson.
Fair enough. Andrew, what are you thinking? Who's your head coach ideally?
Man, can we take all three of those guys and just like combine them into one? I feel like
So one of those head coach by committee type things.
exactly. Like, I mean, I'd love any of those options really. I feel like if I had to pick one, I'm going to lead towards Ben Johnson just because of the way the Lions team totally flipped around. And I think he has to be credited for a lot of that. Not all of it, a lot of it. But then there's also the factor of his connection with Sam Howell, which I'm unsure of being a positive or a negative right now. I don't know if Sam's something we need to leave behind us or if it's something that we need to pick up and totally build around. I'm still working that through, and I'm not sure where I stand on that. The only reason I would say move on from Sam is because Caleb Williams is in the draft. There's no argument about how he has a higher ceiling than Sam. There's no reason why he should go below number 1 overall unless, Bears don't trade and they don't want him. But also I like Sam a lot, and I really, truly still believe in him. And if Ben Johnson does as well and he comes here, I'd trust that. But I also don't know if that would happen with new ownership, new coaches, a new team, and while trying to rebuild, sticking behind a struggling fifth round quarterback. So that's the only factor that I'm unsure of for Ben Johnson, but I'd still probably lean his direction as well.
Fair enough. I would go Ben Johnson. I like the Harbaugh, but I think he either stays back at Michigan. He either goes to the Chargers, he goes to the Raiders. Or like I say, he goes back to Michigan and does what Mike Norvell just got, which was an 8-year extension. And congrats to Norvell for the FSU Seminoles. Y'all are under probation right now, but congratulations. I think for me, it's Ben Johnson or a sneaky candidate who I don't think will get much traction, but we also can't interview till Tuesday or Wednesday, is Texans offensive coordinator Ben Slowick,
who was on our 2013 coaching staff.
Yeah, ironic, isn't it?
That famous coaching staff.
It would come. It's the worst. It just comes around full circle. But look what he did with a rookie quarterback, with a rookie receiver, with a mixed matched offensive line, with a young secondary, a rookie edge rusher, a rookie linebacker, and they're now in the playoffs at like 10-7. It's not the worst. Remember we were sitting here like weeks 1 through 8 saying CJ Stroud should be an MVP candidate as a rookie. Am I the one who remembers these talks?
I remember that.
I remember you saying that.
And he has offensive rookie, locked up now. Although I do think Puka should have it, but because Stroud missed games, but Stroud's in the playoffs now, so so is Puka. But it is what it is. But congrats to Sam. Or to CJ. But yeah, Slowick. But I do think it'll be Ben Johnson at the end of the day. Now, who he hires as offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, his coaching staff, there'll be a whole nother story, whole nother episode for you guys to tune in and watch. But the fact that we got Adam Peters, who was the #1 target, we were all saying since what? Week 12? Week 14-ish?
Around then, yeah.
When we were saying, who should we start off with and who should we target? We got him. We got, Grant Paulson said it best earlier, and shout out to Grant Paulson, one of the best people in the Washington community. He said, the Adam Peters hire tells you a few things about this Harris ownership group. One, they work quickly. This took 4 days to get done. Together, guy, 4 days. You can't get grades in from schools in 4 days most of the time.
Never.
Right? Never. You barely get paperwork and bank statements in 4 days if you're doing online banking. It's ridiculous. 2, they aren't afraid to spend money. He's not going to come cheap, which is true. He's probably going to warrant, $100 million? Roughly. But that doesn't count against the cap. So we could do it. Right? 3, folks around the NFL think very highly of this group so far. They just landed at the guy everybody wanted. That tells you something. When he denied 4 other teams because he wanted to come here and we got him, bingo. And 4, when they want somebody, they'll make it happen. Peters was their top option entering the process, and they got him. It's not wrong. It's not wrong.
Nope.
When was the last time we hired somebody that quick?
Yeah.
Forever.
Going into
Never.
wild card weekend.
Going into wild card week, going into the playoffs, period.
Yeah.
Roughly never.
Crazy.
And now we have him. And I think head coach, it'll take a little longer with the playoffs, but even if we have a new head coach by February, March, April, May, June, July, August, preseason. 6 months to get it done. 6 months to draft, camp, signings, free agents. So signings, free agent signings. #2 overall pick. 9 draft picks total because you have 2 second rounds, 2 third rounds, a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. $95 to $100 million in cap, and you can make that more. Wiley, Leno, Logan Thomas, Jonathan Allen, Curtis Samuel, guys like that. And going to be a new head coach, a new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, the whole 9. With an ownership group that, like Grant just said, is going to spend and get who they want to get and has faith in you. They're not going to backhand. The question 5 was actually this. Shut up, Mom. But it's actually they're not going to, backseat drive or backseat, nitpick. There's not going to do it. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of a better way to start a weekend. The second going, go like Chris said, going into a wild card a weekend with one of the biggest news pieces of the offseason so far.
Yeah.
I mean, are we complaining? Hell no. I'm just ready for the draft, personally.
Can't wait soon enough.
It's gonna be fire. Like I said, guys, if you want to know whenever time we upload, like I said, subscribe here on the channel, turn on post notification bell to know every time we upload. Over to Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. We got mock drafts, we got tweets, we got prospect breakdowns, we got news updates out the wazoo, we got opinions, polls, the whole night. So you're gonna want to head over, above me to all of these, social media sites. Links will be down in the description. Boys, I just can't say it enough. We got him.
Yep.
We did it. The rumors are true. It's happening.
That's something a lot of Washington fans are just not used to. Just immediately being aggressive, going after the best guy available, going all at it, making the best team possible, trying to change things around. I mean, this would not have happened under Dan Snyder in no circumstance. Even if we had more cap space, even if we had the number 1 overall pick, I still don't think this would happen under Dan Snyder. It really truly marks a change in this franchise, regardless of how last year went. That this is like the best offseason I think we can ask for. So it's so promising what's coming forward.
Yeah. Chris, anything else you want to add?
I'm just ready for free agency and see how aggressive we are going to be then.
Hey, fair enough. Hopefully we get aggressive, because there are edge rushers, linebackers, corners, wide receivers we could sign out the wazoo. And guys, we will get into that too. We will do a lot of free agency breakdowns of who we should sign, how much, how long, how they fit into the scheme. We're gonna remember what we did on a Fantasy League last season. Is we did the free agency, we did the draft. We're gonna do a few more of those. We're gonna do a few more PFF mock drafts. We're working to do some prospect interviews, but you never know what you're gonna get unless you like, subscribe, and follow us. Right? Over 75% of the people who view our videos are not subscribed to the channel. That hurts us. I am hurt. Andrew's shaking his head. Chris is like, bro, how could y'all? He's upset. Justin would be upset, right? So guys, seriously, subscribing us takes less than 5 seconds. You just click it, click the red button, and you post, turn on post notification. It helps us at the channel to basically tell us, hey, we're doing a good job. People want to tune in, and we can keep this thing rolling. It helps us make sure you guys get quality content every single week of the off season, regular season, bye week, the whole nine. So like and subscribe, post notification bells, and go follow us Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Oh, man. We did it. Let's keep the momentum.
So far, if you had to call it, this is our NFC Championship. Once we get our head coach and GM, that might be our Super Bowl, right? And if we get Caleb Williams, that's going to be our parade. Like I said, like, subscribe, go follow all of us. Shout out to Rio, Corey, Tone, and Washington Daily, our sponsors since day one. Shout out to them. They've been nothing but helpful and supportive since, like I said, day one. So shout out to them. But let's just finish this offseason right. Let's go draft well, sign well, get our head coach of the future, and hopefully we're in the postseason next year. Hopefully.
10 and 7.
Believe.
Calling it.
Hey, 10-7 would get us in the wild card very easily, but we just got to believe. We got to take command, and we got to stay balling. We'll see y'all out there.